Hello again and welcome back to some climbing news. We've got a ton of stuff to go over after a huge event in Innsbruck featuring the one and only Janja, Garnbret, some more goodies, an 8B and the 95th 9th grade route for Jorge Diaz Rullo, and more. So of course, and as always, sit back, relax, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these weekly updates into the climbing world, and yeah man, let's get into it. And starting us off today with Sera Gearhart. Now, Sera is a pretty prolific boulderer based out of Salt Lake City. That is according to her 8A.NU scorecard, because I cannot, for the life of me, find her social media stuff. I guess she must have deleted it for whatever reason. Anyways, removal from Instagram notwithstanding, Sera has just climbed her 6th 8B/V13 boulder, the Rocky Mountain National Park Classic, Nothing But Sunshine. Apparently Sera is in Colorado at the moment. She's at the park working on the Automator, another classic 8B/V13, which if you don't know about, here's a really old Eric Carlson bouldering video featuring Nina Williams from back in the day when she was working that climb. It's a cool one, check it out for sure. But yeah, it seems Sera took a break from her siege of the Automator to give Nothing But Sunshine some goes, and she killed it, dude. 2 days in total, with the send going down on the second try of the second day. Amazing stuff, and all I gotta say is best of luck on the Automator to Sera. And also, fix the Instagram situation. Here's a Mad Rock video featuring Sera if anyone wants to check that out, because why not? So Jorge Diaz Rullo just climbed another 9A route, this time in La Somme, France. And a climb called the Famous Gem. He's apparently been there for about 18 days at this point, been just kind of doing his thing, and just to kind of give a little bit of a perspective on how strong this dude actually is, he sent the Famous Gem in 4 goes. 4 goes. Kind of seemed disappointed that it took him that many tries. Like, what kind of absolute monster is disappointed about doing something that hard that quickly? What is wrong with people? But should I honestly be surprised he sent something that hard that quickly? No. You know why? Because this is his 95th 9th grade route. And like, yeah, I know Yosemite decimal people, aka Americans, are gonna be all like, what do you mean, like 9th? UV9? No, dude. Learn the conversions. As a Spaniard, it is my God-given right to hate on the French for, just being French, honestly. But, and it pains me to say this, their grade scale is better in both bouldering and sport climbing. They just are. Just add it to the list. Democracy, existentialism, the blowjob, and the Fontainebleau bouldering system. I'm not even sorry. 514D, come on, man. It's 9A. It's just better. Which brings me back to Jorge, who, despite the tangent, yeah, 95 routes, 9A and above on his scorecard. Scorecard? Whatever you want to call it. Belt? Sure. Yeah. Who cares? That's still an insane numbers. More routes than I've ever even tried, probably. I hate sport climbing, but still. And I'm not even done singing this dude's praises, because he just actually managed his 11th ever 8B plus on site with a route called Le Merzoul. 8B plus is 514A, by the way. So, you know, I mean, on-siting is crazy. Actually, in case you don't know what that is doing a route on your first go without any previous information. Like, can't look at the holds, can't watch beta videos, can't watch someone climbing it beforehand. It's kind of like a flash, but on steroids. Which means, I mean, if you have zero info, you don't know when it gets hard, when it gets easy, where the rests are, if you even need them, if there even are any, you basically have to be way stronger than the route is graded. But anyways, big congrats to Jorge climbing through the summer heat and well on his way to his 100th 9A and above sport route. Will be interesting to see what he ends up choosing to do. And yeah, I know I just gave the YDS and Waco scale a bunch of undeserved crap, but all in good fun, and actually kind of curious what you guys think. Any preference for grade scales? Would love to know. Next, and oh boy, is Michaela Kirsch in trouble for drawing tick marks, according to a lot of really fragile-minded people who seemingly can't get over the fact that she's stronger than them. Michaela just uploaded this photo from her send of one of the coolest lines in Magic Wood, the amazing 8B, The Knowing, which she made pretty short work of about a month or so ago. And as she is one to do, she posted a bunch of, I mean, it's not really hate, it's more like, what, like undeserved spray? Jealousy over the fact she climbs harder. Like, don't get me wrong, dude, I'm deadly jealous of Michaela Kirsch. This chick's got a freaking beer sponsorship. Like, how do I do that? I want that. It's not fair. She's an athlete. I'm just the guy who sits and talks about athletes. I'm the one with the beer gut, like, weighing me down. It doesn't look like it, but it's there. Michaela's got a 6-pack. I've got a keg. So, you know, gimme. but not really the point. It's kind of cool to see people calling other people out for their crap like this, so I felt like it'd be an opportunity to spotlight it and also just kind of, talk about the ethics of tick marks for a second. Because just in case you don't know, tick marks are hated because, well, they make rocks look ugly and they give climbers a bad rep. It's an eyesore. You guys remember the crime against humanity that was Death Star, right? In case you don't, feast your eyes. Yeah, people who aren't climbers see that and rightfully complain. And that leads to iffy access for future climbers in whatever areas the tick marks are in. And we don't want that, right? Who wants to be the person that causes everyone to lose access to a bunch of classics because they couldn't just draw smaller lines and then erase them, right? Also, just kind of, it ruins things for other climbers too. Like, it's annoying to have someone else's tick marks on a boulder you're gonna work for various reasons. It's like anonymous beta spraying, basically. It's not cool. So for that reason, and as Michaela is an actual picture of herself doing, you gotta brush them ticks off when you're done climbing a boulder. Because if you don't, like, honestly, I don't know why this happens. I'm not a doctor, but it kind of stains the rock. Like, a tick mark that's been there for multiple days just stays there, even if you brush it. So yeah, brush your tick marks, people. It's easy to forget, happens to everyone. I'll admit, even to myself, like on multiple occasions. It's one of those things that you gotta be super vigilant about because it's hard to remember when you're tired, you've packed up, you wanna go home, you're hungry, whatever. Not trying to excuse it, it's just, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, nice PSA. Also, don't be a douche to other people online. It's not that hard, I don't think. Moving on. And then let's talk Mellow Rock Games for the last time as the results are in. So if you don't know, the Mellow Rock Games was a video contest hosted by Mellow. It was meant to be a community-driven thing where a bunch of people could vote on the best video that was submitted. It had to be featuring outdoor climbing, and I personally thought the whole point of the contest was to kind of lend a spotlight on newer creators, people who didn't do this professionally, amateurs, if you will. And the contest started that way, with most of the videos in the first few rounds being sent in by random people who did really great work, in my opinion. But yeah, that quickly sort of got thrown out the window when we found out professional climbing studios were actually allowed to enter the contest too. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. Let me just tell you who won what. We've got the film Nowhere, which won the award for Best Cinematography, which was purely chosen by the Mellow judges. And yeah, I gotta give it to the guys that made this thing. If you have 3 minutes to spare, definitely a must watch. It's beautifully shot. Definitely deserved it, for sure. Then in third place, Hamish MacArthur's Megatron movie, which I honestly thought would win, mostly because it was the hardest climb in the contest, and I figured that people were a little bit basic like that. It's my bad. I have zero faith in you people. But yeah, not a secret that I wasn't the biggest fan of the writing. I did enjoy the ideas behind it and the attempt at doing something different. So, should these guys have been allowed to enter the contest in the first place? In my opinion, absolutely not. Given that they were, did they deserve to be as high as they did? Yeah, definitely. And then surprisingly, because I really didn't think this one would get second place, The Search for Lost Rocks. I mean, personally, I would have given this my vote for first place. I thought the vibes were impeccable. I thought it was a very, very fun video, and all the more impressive that these guys were competing against actual professionals. So yeah, man, huge win for them. Congratulations. And then in first place, David Fitzgerald, who, I mean, he made a fantastic video. All by himself, dude was out there in Yosemite working one of the valley's most legendary problems. He nearly broke his ankle falling off the slab. Do I think he deserved to win? Sure. I mean, it's an extremely well-made video. I loved watching it, but it did feel a little too generic to me at times. Like, every other climbing video is very similar stuff to this one, and elephant in the room, I don't think he should have been allowed to enter the contest. I don't. Again, dude is a fantastic videographer, love all the stuff he's done, including this one, but his work is on Mellow all the time. It didn't seem fair to me, or at least not in line with what I originally thought was the spirit of the contest. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Regardless though, congratulations should be sent out to all the people that submitted their stuff. I really loved seeing what everyone put out, and yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think. Did you enjoy the contest? Do you agree with me that maybe Mellow should think about who can and cannot join for the next iteration? Let me know in the comments below. And then let's move on to the IFSC Bouldering World Cup that was held in Innsbruck over the weekend, and the return of the undisputed GOAT competition climbing, Janja Garnbret. Kind of just showed up for a second to remind everyone who the boss is, especially this dude. And we talk about asserting dominance.
Oh my sweet Jesus.
That's rad.
And let's talk about the finals boulders, starting with boulder 1 called No Slip Banana Peel. Sort of weird coordination move where you slide over a no-tex hold. Janja went over the top in a way that would have not just broken my ankles and hips, but also probably my soul, while Jorge did it in a way that would have done in my wrists. So, I'm an athlete too. Tricky, but pretty interesting. A hand jam in women's boulder 2 that I'm pretty sure must have had Pete Whitaker and Tom Randall feeling incredibly calm and nonchalant about the whole thing. Then boulder 3, a nice and simple slab. What am I saying? When are slabs ever simple? It's disgusting and I hate them. But a lot of the competitors climbed it beautifully, making me think I'd have a chance and just adding to my delusion. So, that's nice. And then a final power boulder with some kind of weird sequence with 0 feet at all, except for volumes in all the wrong places that modern setter seems to just love putting on walls for whatever reason. But hey, let's talk about those finalists. In 8th place, Giorgia Tessio, making her first ever finals. Huge congrats to her. She managed a total of 10 points in a single zone of boulder 4. Then Melody Sekikawa in 7th with no tops but 3 zones and 3 different boulders. Annie Sanders, who was seemingly having a bad day, full of frustration, coming in 6th. And honestly, when I have a high gravity day, I can't do V4. When she has one, she comes in 6th in a World Cup. Am I okay with this? I haven't made up my mind about it. I'll keep you all posted. 5th place for Mao Nakamura, who managed the zone of that tricky boulder 1 in 13 tries and got a top of boulder 3. 4th for Camila Moroni, who only took 8 attempts to reach zone 1 and who also sent the slab-tastic boulder 3. And then in the podium, Anon Matsufuji, who topped the slippery boulder 1 in 6 tries, flashed the hand jam boulder, but was unable to get a zone of boulder 3. And Oriane Berton, who managed a send of boulder 1 and who cruised through boulder 3. I mean, a girl grew up going to Font, right? Are we surprised she can slab well? I'm not. I hate Font. Stupid slabs. I don't hate Font. It's actually kind of cool, but And then finally, right where she belongs, Queen Janja, who again, it just kind of seems like she came back to remind everyone that comp climbing is her bitch. And she can do whatever she wants with the sport. She topped every single boulder, flashed 2 of them, flashed boulder 4 when she didn't even need to, because of course she did. Dude, she flashed a boulder that none of the other competitors were even able to top. Like, it really is just incredible to see how much better she is than everybody else. But let's move on to the men. Right, so men's boulder 1 was kind of a weird slabby coordination move, the second half of which no one was able to do. Every single finalist managed to get the zone in less than 3 attempts, so kind of an interesting one. Moving on to boulder 2, some really colorful zebra holds, a jump start, and super powerful moves with a really hard-looking, smearing bicep-y finish. Then boulder number 3, my favorite, a slab, and they called it Welcome to Paris. I don't know why. Maybe because Font is close to Paris. Maybe because they set boulders like this in Paris. The final was in Innsbruck. It makes no sense. Stupid, ugly, no hands move that wasn't actually ugly at all. I'm just really freaking biased. It is what it is. Get over it. I will not apologize for my hatred of slabs. And notably, the easiest boulder of the set was topped by 5 of the 8 competitors. And finally, boulder number 4, big yellow holds on a 30-degree wall with some powerful semi-coordination moves and a tough pinch finish from a very, very, very small crimp. Let's throw up them charts. We've got Nikolai Uznik coming in 8th place, doing the work for the home crowd with 2 zones on boulders 1 and 3, followed by Sota Amagasa in 7th place, and who managed to zone every single boulder, but was unfortunately unable to get a top. Then Mehdi Schalk in 6th place to end a really strong season. Mehdi had some trouble with some of the more powerful boulders this time around, but was able to get a top for boulder number 3. 5th place this time for Do-Hyun Lee, a strong start with a flash of boulder 2, but unfortunately that's about all he could manage. And then in 4th, Maximilian Milne, whose zone of every boulder was just enough to put him ahead of Lee, but unfortunately kept him out of the podium. In 3rd place, Hannes van Dyssen, who managed his 3rd ever medal in a World Cup by flashing every single zone except for boulder number 3, which he managed to top in 5 attempts, followed by Sorato Anraku in 2nd place. The only one other than Do-Hyun Lee to top boulder 2, one of 5 competitors to top boulder 3, but unfortunately not enough for 1st place, an honor reserved for Toby Roberts. And I mean, Toby's had a year, man. Dude just went from coming in 51st in the last World Cup to winning again. He put out an Instagram post not too long ago talking about needing to find a way to get past the pressures he felt after winning the Olympics, and I think he freaking found whatever he needed to find. Not only did Toby get first place, but he pulled a Janja and flashed the last 2 boulders, which is exactly what he needed for the gold. So congratulations to all the World Cup competitors. This was the last bouldering event of the season, which went by way too fast. Way too fast. But yeah, I can't wait for next year. I gotta ask, anyone have any thoughts on this year? Favorite comp, predictions for next year, especially for the women, given that Brooke, Janja, and Natalia are probably gonna be back. Should be interesting stuff. I'd love to know all of your thoughts in the comments below. But then let's move on to the lead World Cup that was held this weekend in Innsbruck. Let's talk about the route. The women's was very hard, with most competitors falling somewhere around halfway through, whereas the men's route was entirely too easy, with the vast majority of competitors topping the thing. So throwing up a chart there for the women, quite a bit of separation actually, so despite the fact that this route was a little too hard in my opinion, it's honestly better set than when the route has a single stopper move that wipes everyone out. Cough cough, Paris. Sorry. Anyways, going to mostly talk about the podium, which was taken up by Erin McNeice with yet another amazing performance in 3rd place. Laura Rogora in 2nd, who managed just one single move more than Erin and who actually did surprisingly well on some of the more dynamic moves on the route, something she usually has trouble with, but not this time. Guess she's been training. And then, of course, an entirely unsurprising number 1 spot for the one and only Janja Garnbret, who managed to get nearly 10 moves above everyone else. Because of course she did. In the men's, like I said, the route was entirely too easy, with everyone but Max Berton, Do Hyun Lee, and Jesse Grouper managing a top. I mean, not much to say at this point, honestly. It all pretty much came down to how the semifinals went, because yeah, there's not really a better way to create separation in the event of a tie. Which, I don't know, man, why not have something prepared? Give us more climbing, like an overtime route, or have the men try the women's route to see what happens and vice versa. I feel like that would be orders of magnitude more interesting and entertaining than whatever it is that we have. But, I mean, you know, what do I know? Anyways, 3rd place for Alberto Ginés Lope, who topped the route. 2nd place for Toby Roberts in the midst of his mega comeback. Honestly, pretty crazy for the guy to go from not climbing well at all the entire season to ending on such a great note. It's awesome to see. And then Neo Suzuki with the gold and his first ever World Cup win. So massive congrats to him for a job really well done. But hey, that was some climbing news. Still figuring out how I want to cover lead climbing in the future. It's kind of weird to do because there's only one route per competitor and it's the same thing for everyone. So not super sure how I want to tackle that. If anybody out there has some feedback on how they'd like me to go forward with things, I'd love to know your thoughts, ideas, all the etceteras. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little dive into the climbing world. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. Comment with your opinions, as the whole idea behind all of this is to spark some amount of conversation. Hopefully, I will see you guys at some point again this week. But in the meantime, and as always, go climb some stuff.